Welcome to part 2 of my Transform 30 video course. My name is Kristine Stout, and I will be your Transform 30 coach. On the first video, we talked about what Transform 30 is and why cleansing is so important a step to take when you're trying to lose weight. We also talked about the Transform 30 guidelines. If you missed that video, you'll probably want to check it out first. Pause this video here, copy and paste this link into a new browser window, and watch that video first. Then come back to this one. I'll be waiting for you. In this video, I'd like to talk about the reasons why we give up dairy, gluten, and sugary foods, and most meat, alcohol, and caffeine for our 30-day full nutrition cleanse. There is a lot of information and misinformation out there, and I'd like to try and clear it up for you. Sugar. Well, it's kind of a no-brainer, isn't it? If you want to lose weight, you should stop eating sugar. Makes sense, right? But what about the sugar in fruit? What about orange juice, or cranberry juice, or grape juice? What's the difference in all that? The first thing I want you to know is what too much sugar does to your bloodstream. This line shows what happens to your glycemic index if you eat a big piece of cake or drink a can of soda or eat a candy bar. It causes these spikes and dips that are responsible for a lot of internal chaos. For example, an inappropriate insulin spike is associated with diabetes or prediabetes. Lowering your immune response means if you're exposed to germs and viruses when your defenses are down, you're much more likely to get sick. Mood fluctuations mean you're happy and energetic one minute and depressed and dragging the next. And your willpower definitely suffers whenever your moods are dictating your actions. This happens on those high and low spikes that happen in your glycemic index when you eat too much sugar. Ideally, we'd like to see a more even response when you eat food, with no big highs or lows. This line shows what happens when you eat broccoli or greens or one of our complete shakes. So it really isn't about how sweet food is, it is about the glycemic index of that food. Unfortunately, glycemic index is not required on our food labels, so if you just have to figure this out yourself. But it's really not that hard to understand. Basically, the more processed the sugar is, the higher the glycemic index. It's like this. Let's say we start with a sugar beet. By the time they process the beet, yet you're left with this bleached white granules called sugar. You've lost all the fiber and nutrients that were originally present in the beet. If you just eat a sugar beet, your glycemic index will probably rise a little, but then level off and slowly decline. But if you swallow the amount of sugar that comes from that same beet after it's been extracted and bleached and processed to death, your glycemic index will spike sharply, decline rapidly, and never really level off. This happens with all processed foods. Orange juice is another good example. Now I'm talking about 100% pure, not from concentrate, organic orange juice. There is just as much sugar in a glass of orange juice as there is in a can of soda. Processing, or juicing, removes most, if not all, of the pulp and fiber. Whatever nutrients were originally in the oranges will not be absorbed into your bloodstream in the same way. That is, whatever nutrients are able to survive the rigorous processing techniques of modern manufacturing. Most juices rely on added vitamins because so many of them are lost in the processing. So for optimal health advantages, skip the glass of orange juice and just eat the orange. Skip the grape juice and just eat the grapes. Skip the cranberry juice, unless you can find one with no added sugar, and just add fresh cranberries to your smoothie when they're in season. A final word about sugar. Too much sugar in your daily intake helps to create a highly acidic atmosphere in your body. Did you know that cancer cells eat sugar? Cancer is an absolute sugar hog. Disease flourishes in an acidic atmosphere. Your body's pH level needs to lean to the alkaline side of the scale for optimal body function. Too much sugar makes that impossible. Sugar is not the only food we consistently consume that causes an acidic environment in the body. Dairy products, meat, and gluten also contribute to the problem. They are also responsible for a lot of the inflammation we experience today. Autoimmune responses can go crazy when you overload your system with sugar, meat, dairy, and gluten. Sadly, those are the 4 main ingredients of the standard American diet. They are also highly addictive, especially sugar. And oh, how we Americans love our comfort foods. Transform 30 is designed to help you change all that. As your coach, I want to help you change your eating habits so that you can create that alkaline environment in your body that diseases simply hate. I want to help you make peace with your gut biome and your whole digestive system. I want to help you strengthen your immune system so you don't get sick so much. Or if you do, it won't be so brutal or last so long. I want to help you strengthen the organs of elimination, intestines, kidneys, skin, lungs, and colon, so that your body can take care of toxins and free radicals on its own and process food efficiently, allowing you to get the most nutrition and benefit you can from your food. And I want to help you repair the damage that your diet and lifestyle may have already done to your body and get you on the road to wellness. The last item I'd like to cover is gluten. Gluten is a protein found in wheat, rye, buckwheat, and barley. The standard American diet is rich in gluten grains. They're in everything from bread to cookies to beer. Many people have developed sensitivities to gluten because of its overuse in our food industry. Celiac disease is a very severe autoimmune condition that an ever-increasing number of people are experiencing. But even if you don't have any problems that you know of with bread or other wheat or rye products, the fact remains that gluten is very hard, if not impossible, to digest. It contributes to your body's acidic pH levels, and it creates an undue amount of inflammation in your digestive tract. Eating gluten products interferes with the cleansing process of Transform 30. We require that you go off gluten for just 30 days and see how your body reacts. After your 30 days, if you want to try and add it back into your diet, you'll be more able to determine if you personally have any issues with gluten. The results will likely surprise you. To sum it all up, during your 30 days on Transform 30, you will be giving up all dairy products, all gluten, and all processed sugars. And no more than 6% of your daily food intake should come from animal sources. It will also be helpful for your detox process if you can eliminate alcohol and caffeine. Alcohol often interferes with the digestion process and can cause mood swings that can interfere with your willpower. Caffeine has become a crutch for so many people nowadays. They simply can't function before their first cup of coffee. They often also load it up with cream and sugar, which are both total no-nos while you're on Transform 30. But after a week on Transform 30, you'll find that you don't really need the caffeine as much as your energy levels begin to rise naturally. After 30 days, you will likely find you don't need caffeine at all anymore. This video covers all the don'ts and shouldn'ts and the logic behind that, and the benefits you receive if you don't do the shouldn'ts. But Transform 30 is not all about giving things up. The next video will cover the cans and the want-tos in the Transform 30 guidelines. Remember, when you sign up for the Transform 30 program, You'll be getting free, individual, person-to-person coaching from me, your Transform 30 coach. Making self-care a priority for 30 days is very challenging, and you don't have to do it alone. I'm not just going to be there when you get started. I'm going to be available daily for you to lean on and for you to ask questions and give you some accountability. Incidentally, it's also a really good idea to start Transform 30 with a buddy so that you can support each other. Think about it. It's likely that this program is already making a lot of sense to you. Please feel free to contact me anytime. I can answer any questions you have so much easier in a one-to-one conversation. We can talk about which of the guidelines sounds more challenging to you and which you'll need the most help with. And we'll talk about your individual health goals. Personalize the program for you. I'm anxious to get started, are you? Until the next video then, good health to you.